Hi, in this video I have the Delonghi Distinta 4-slice toaster. In this video I will be going through all the functions, I will show you the device, and I'll also give you my review. Right, on the front we've got the two sliders. It only stays in the down position if the unit is plugged in. So as you can see, it is plugged in. If I want to cancel the toasting action, I have to press the cancel button over here and it releases the slider. They say in the manual, do not force the slider up. You must use the cancel button. You'll see there are other buttons there. There is a bagel toasting option. What that does is it only allows the toaster to work on the two inner heaters. So that means that the two heaters there and the two heaters there go on, while the ones on the outside do not go on, in order for you to toast only one side of your bagel. Now, having a look at the next function, it says defrost. So what happens is if I press it down and I press defrost, it will extend the toasting cycle. Now, the toasting cycle is governed by the toast color indicator. For example, if you want the toasting to be extended, I can turn this dial to say number 4, 5, or 6, just giving you an idea of the time range for these dials. My measurements show that if the toaster is cold, what I mean by that is it hasn't been used before. Number 1 takes about 1 minute 35 seconds, while if you extend it all the way to number 6, it takes about 3 minutes 40 seconds. So you can see there is a significant difference in the toasting cycle. Now what I do notice is if you've already toasted your bread and then the toasting cycle has completed and then you toast again immediately, that cycle changes considerably. So there is a huge amount of variability in the toasting time if the toaster has already functioned. And I give you an example. When I put this on number 6, my first toasting cycle took 3 minutes and 41 seconds. My second toasting cycle took 2 minutes and 48 seconds, and then my third also took 2 minutes and 48 seconds. You can see that it was almost a minute faster if I toast and then toast immediately afterwards. So there's going to be quite a significant variability in the toasting of your bread. That is true of most toasters. Right, so what the defrost does is if I press that, it even extends that. So if, say, for example, the number 1 was giving you a minute, it will now give you a minute plus an extra time slot in order to offer the defrost function as well. Then it has a reheat function. If I press the reheat, it operates for about 48 to 52 seconds in my initial measurements. So what that does is if the toast had popped up, but you never took it out of the toaster, well, you can just press the reheat just to warm up the bread once again. Now, when I compared both of these, the correlation between the toasting time on both sides was very good. Now, you might notice that this has already come loose. So this is one of the negatives that I've already experienced with this toaster. I'll have to glue this back on. It just popped right off. If it was plastic, we would start to see scratch marks on here, but unfortunately, it will need to be stuck back on. You will notice that it has got quite a significant spring up action. There we go. And what I do like is this is very springy. Right, so one of the things I don't like is when I press this down, notice there is no indication telling me that the toaster is toasting. The only way I know that it is toasting is if I look at these two levers. So I know they're toasting only because of the lever being down. If I want to see if it's on the reheat, yes, there's a wonderful little LED there, same as the defrost and then also the bagel. Now I'll just cancel that and I'll cancel this one. Now, having a look at the finish, there is this seam that is traveling around, looks very nice. And if I turn it around completely, now at the back there are two trays here. Now, just a note on these two trays, notice that I'm lifting the toaster up and there's no crumbs there. But if I just tap it a few times, notice there is some spillage that is taking place. So even though I haven't even loosened the trays, there is going to be some spillage. Right, to take the tray out, I just pull it like that. Unfortunately, as you take the tray out, it does mess a little bit. So for example, if I pull this one out, you will see underneath additional crumbs that have found its way there. So the trays are useful in cleaning your toaster, but the trays do not solve the complete crumb problem. For example, if I show you a top view of the toaster, you will still see quite a lot of crumbs inside. Right, so the trays have been removed, and if you have a look towards the bottom, there is still residue, or there are still some crumbs there. Now, something to be aware of, this top section here does get hot. Right, I'm just going to take a measurement here and one can see that it does get pretty hot on the top surface here. The reading there is 90 degrees centigrade, and it is hotter towards the back than the front. The surface does get quite hot, especially if you've toasted a few slices of bread. What is nice is the mouth here is wide. It's 4 centimeters, so that is wide enough for a very fat piece of bread. One can fit a bagel or a muffin when cut in two over here, and just notice the little grill sides are very wide and they do allow that movement. Now, something that I don't enjoy, as I'm showing you, there's a groove that goes around here. Crumbs do get caught in here, and the only way to clean that would be to use a blower or to turn the toaster upside down. But even so, sometimes the crumbs are quite difficult to get out of this section here. Now over here I've got another toaster. It's a generic toaster, and the reason why I say that is you can get this with many different brands stated on the front. Why I like this one is, as you can see, there is no place for crumbs to get stuck. Now, just comparing the Delonghi to something like this, these are much nicer. They go down more uniformly, while this over here over time has actually gotten destroyed. It has become very sticky, and also it's like it's become at an angle. It's like the platform is now leaning. So what do I think of this Delonghi toaster? Looks great. I like the finish. I'm not happy about that falling off, but I can glue that on. Overall, it does the job. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a light when it's on. For example, even this entry-level toaster has a light telling me that the toaster is on. Alright, so I've been using this toaster for 2 months. Other than that little cap falling off, the toaster has been functioning very well. This toaster is rated at 220 to 240 volts, and it is 1800 watts. Thanks for watching, and cheers.